I found out my fiancé was having an affair with my best friend, so I destroyed both their lives. It had been months since I'd started noticing something was off, but I didn't want to believe it. Life had been good. No, great, actually. I was engaged to someone I thought I knew inside and out, and my best friend, Sophie, had always been there for me. We'd been inseparable since college, the kind of friendship where I knew her deepest secrets and she knew mine. Or so I thought. But lately, things didn't feel right. Small things at first. My fiancé, Alex, was late more often than usual. And Sophie? She'd been acting distant, almost evasive. Whenever I'd call her, she'd be in the middle of something, never really listening. And Alex, always the picture of attentiveness, had started being too busy to talk or too tired to spend time together. It was easy to brush it off: work stress, personal issues, the usual excuses. But deep down, I couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. The turning point came when I discovered Alex's phone hidden under the couch cushion one afternoon. He never left his phone lying around. Never. So, when I found it there, I thought, okay, maybe he's just distracted today. But when I unlocked it, curiosity getting the better of me, what I found made my stomach churn. Messages. A lot of them. Texts between him and Sophie. Texts that were flirtatious, intimate, and far too personal for two people who were supposed to be my closest confidants. They were planning to meet up behind my back. But the worst part? They were talking about me. About how I was too clingy, too emotional, and probably wouldn't notice if they kept their secret. I felt like the ground had been ripped out from beneath me. At first, I couldn't breathe. My heart raced, and my thoughts were in a blur. Sophie? My best friend? And Alex? My fiancé? I couldn't wrap my head around it. I thought of all the moments we had shared, laughing over dinner, planning our future together, the wedding we had been dreaming about for months. I shoved the phone back under the cushion, feeling nauseous. My mind raced, running through the conversations I'd had with both of them in the past few days. The odd glances they exchanged at my birthday party, their sudden secrecy when I asked what they had been talking about. And I, being the fool I was, had trusted them both completely.
But now?
Now, everything was different. I wasn't just a victim in this twisted little drama. I was about to become something else entirely, someone who would no longer take their lies lying down. The rest of the day passed in a daze. I couldn't think straight. I wanted to confront them right then and there, but I knew that wouldn't be smart. I needed to gather my thoughts, plan my next move. The anger that bubbled up in my chest was overwhelming, but there was something else too. Something darker. A sense of power. Power that came from knowing the truth. Later that night, I watched Alex walk in through the front door, his face lighting up when he saw me. He tried to kiss me, but I pulled away. "Something's wrong," he said, his voice filled with that typical concerned tone. The one I had fallen in love with, the one that made me believe he actually cared about me. "You've been acting strange lately," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. He frowned, stepping closer to me. "I've just been stressed at work, babe. You know that." I wasn't sure what gave me the strength, but I didn't want to buy the lies anymore. "No, you've been distant. You've been texting Sophie all day. She was your alibi when you didn't want to answer my calls last night." He froze. The blood drained from his face. I didn't wait for him to try and justify anything. I wasn't stupid anymore. I wanted him to admit it, to finally say the words that would make it all real. But he couldn't. He didn't. "Where were you two planning on going tonight?" I asked quietly, my voice barely a whisper. "Listen, I don't know what you're talking about," he started, but I didn't let him finish. "You don't get to lie anymore, Alex," I snapped. My heart pounded, but I stood my ground. "You and Sophie have been sneaking around behind my back for God knows how long. I saw the messages. The pictures." He staggered back, his eyes wide with panic. "Wait, how did you?" I raised my hand to stop him. "Save it. You can't talk your way out of this one." Alex opened his mouth to say something else, but it was like the words got stuck. His face twisted, a mix of guilt, frustration, and something else. Fear, maybe. But it was too late for apologies. "Get out," I said, the words coming out cold and sharp. "I don't ever want to see you again." He stood there, paralyzed for a moment, before he turned and walked toward the door without saying another word. The sound of it closing behind him felt final, like a door that had slammed shut on everything I thought I knew about love, loyalty, and trust. I sank down onto the couch, my body trembling. The tears didn't come immediately. I was too angry, too focused. I had never felt more betrayed, more alone in my life. But I knew one thing for sure. I wasn't just going to let this go. I didn't sleep that night. Not a single second. I just sat on the edge of my bed, staring at the closed bedroom door like it was some kind of portal to a life that had just disintegrated in front of me. My phone kept lighting up. Alex.
Sophie.
First apologizing, then justifying, then trying to manipulate. The guilt messages came fast, like they were racing against time, afraid I'd beat them to the punch and tell people before they could spin the narrative in their favor. But I didn't respond. Instead, I deleted all the unread messages and backed up every piece of evidence I had, screenshots, location history, the entire message thread. I wasn't going to confront them again. I had something else in mind now. Because here's the thing about betrayal. It doesn't just hurt. It transforms you. It shaves the softness off you, burns the innocence out of your trust. And once it's gone, what's left behind is raw instinct. I sat down at my laptop, aimlessly scrolling, trying to numb myself. I opened my email, then shut it. I opened Netflix, then closed it. Nothing could distract me long enough to quiet the storm inside. Then something strange happened. I clicked on the Google Drive shortcut on my desktop. Not mine, hers. Sophie's Drive. I stared at the screen, blinking in confusion. Her full name was in the top right corner. The email address confirmed it. I hadn't opened her account, she had. It hit me all at once. A few months ago, Sophie had borrowed my laptop while hers was being repaired. I remember her asking, "Mind if I log into Google Drive to grab a file? I'll log out after." But she never did. She never logged out. She was still signed in. And that single moment of laziness, trust, even was about to cost her everything. I sat frozen for several minutes before I moved. My fingers hovered over the mouse like I was about to defuse a bomb. A part of me felt like I was crossing some line, but then again, hadn't they crossed every line? I opened her drive. At first, it was mostly work stuff, project proposals, spreadsheets, boring decks with buzzwords like synergy and scalability. But then I found a folder named Personal. Classic Sophie. Even her secrets were branded. Inside, subfolders labeled Travel, Photos, Alex, and one folder titled Trash, Delete Later. I opened Alex first. There they were. Dozens of photos. Dates they claimed never happened. Screenshots of texts where they laughed about lying to me. Selfies they took in hotel rooms while I was at work. I was staring at a curated museum of my own humiliation. And then I opened Trash, Delete Later. That's where the real story was.
It was a draft.
Addressed to Alex. My vision blurred as I read through the rest. She's been so unstable lately, I'm actually scared she might make a scene. But if we handle it right, people will understand. Just talk to your sister first, and get her on your side. Once she hears how erratic Opie has been, she'll back us. And don't forget to delete this LOL. That LOL felt like a slap. They weren't just lying. They were preparing a narrative, one where I was the unstable, jealous ex. Where they came out looking like star-crossed lovers who found each other unexpectedly. I wanted to throw the laptop through the wall. But instead, I started thinking. I didn't need to snoop through Sophie's apartment. I didn't need to hire anyone. I had everything I needed, right here, gifted to me by her arrogance. Because of course Sophie used the same password for everything. And, of course, she let her browser remember it. I opened a new tab and typed in Instagram. Logged in instantly. Same with Facebook. And Gmail. And what I found was breathtaking. Sophie had always been addicted to documentation. She was the kind of person who archived her entire life online. And that tendency, usually harmless, had now become her biggest liability. In her Google Photos account, I found timestamp selfies of her in Alex's car on days she said she was sick. voice memos she'd recorded for herself, reminders of what lies she told me versus what she told Alex. One video, never posted publicly, of her and Alex laughing in bed. My name was mentioned halfway through, followed by, "She's so clueless, it's almost cruel." My hands shook. I didn't cry. I copied everything. Every file, every photo, every video. I backed up the entire drive to an encrypted USB and then again to a password-protected cloud folder under an anonymous account. And then I started building my own folders. Lie timeline, a spreadsheet mapping out every lie, matched to dates and locations. Statements, anonymous testimonies from friends who'd had bad experiences with Sophie. Audio proof, where I dropped the voice memos. Financials, a few invoices I found where Sophie had charged personal expenses to her job's corporate account. Yes, I went that far. By now, I had what I needed to ruin them. But I didn't want to just destroy their reputations. I wanted them to watch it fall apart and not know when the next strike was coming. So I started small. I created a fake Instagram profile using one of those free anonymous number services to verify the account. No photos of me, just a motivational quote, a pretty profile pic I pulled from stock images, and a bio that read, "Karma always collects." I followed Alex. Then I followed Sophie. Then I liked one of Sophie's oldest photos, her and I on a beach vacation from years ago.
Next day?
I'd met her from the burner account. You really shouldn't leave your dirty laundry in someone else's closet. Or laptop. She read it. Didn't respond. 30 minutes later, she removed all her tagged photos with me on Instagram. Then she blocked the burner. I smiled. Because that wasn't even the warning shot. That was just the sound of the safety clicking off. I knew Sophie would panic and go into damage control. She'd probably start deleting things, changing passwords, wiping files. But it didn't matter. I already had it all. In fact, I wanted her to panic. I wanted her to get sloppy. And she did. 2 days later, I received a call from a mutual friend, Kara. She sounded hesitant. "Hey, are you okay?" "I've been better." Sophie's telling people you've been acting unstable. She said you tried to hack her stuff." Bingo. I acted confused. "What?" "I haven't even spoken to her." "She said you lost it after the breakup and started stalking her and Alex. That you threatened to release fake photos of them." I laughed out loud. "Fake photos?" "Yeah, and she's saying you've been off for months." I didn't argue. I thanked Kara and hung up. Then I created a new Google document. I titled it, "Statement from a Friend of the Woman You Betrayed." In it, I wrote out the truth. Not just about the affair, but the planning, the manipulation, the smear campaign they were preparing against me. Then I attached a folder link with password-protected access. Every piece of evidence, neatly labeled. And I sent the doc anonymously to her HR department, Alex's firm's internal ethics email, and 2 of our former professors from university, people who really liked me but never liked her. Oh, and that friend she was trying to manipulate? Kara got a copy too. Within 72 hours. Sophie was suspended, pending internal review, after the finance team noticed inconsistencies in her company expense reports. Alex's firm received several anonymous complaints from supposed past clients, referencing unprofessional behavior and unethical conduct. Their mutual friends started ghosting them. One even posted a meme that said, "Trust takes years to build, seconds to break, and forever to repair," and tagged me. I didn't respond to any of it. I just watched. And every night before bed, I opened that folder of evidence, my little archive of vengeance, and reminded myself, this is what happens when you betray someone who has nothing left to lose. They say revenge is a dish best served cold, but they never talk about the heat that comes after. It started slowly, little cracks in the facade. I was in my kitchen when the doorbell rang. It was Sophie. No warning. No call. Just standing on my doorstep like a ghost in expensive yoga pants, sunglasses covering half her face. I opened the door, heart pounding. "What do you want?" "I need to talk."
No.
She took off the sunglasses. Her eyes were swollen, bloodshot. "Please," she whispered. "Just 5 minutes." I hesitated. Every instinct in me screamed to slam the door in her face. But curiosity, ego, maybe even a flicker of humanity stopped me. I let her in. She stood in my hallway, looking like she'd aged 5 years in a week. "I know you're behind this," she said quietly. "Behind what?"
I asked.
"You know what? The HR investigation. The files. The emails."
The drive.
I shrugged. "You really shouldn't log into your accounts on other people's devices." Her face twisted. "Do you think this makes you better than me?" I tilted my head.
No.
"I think it makes me smarter than you." Silence. Then the breakdown. "I'm going to lose everything," she said. Her voice cracked. "My job, my reputation, even Alex is barely talking to me. He thinks I set him up." That part made me smile. "You two deserve each other," I said. "Rot in the mess you made." She stepped forward suddenly. "You don't understand. You don't know what I've been through. You don't know how much pressure I've been under. My parents, my job. I made a mistake, but you're trying to ruin my life." I stared at her for a long moment. Then I said the quietest, most truthful thing I've ever spoken. "You didn't just betray me. You made plans to humiliate me. You were building a story where I came out looking like a psycho. And now you're angry that I took the pen out of your hand." Tears rolled down her cheeks. For a second, I almost felt something. Then I remembered the voice memo. Her laughing with Alex about how pathetic I was. How I'd probably never bounce back. I took a step toward the door. "We're done here." Before she left, she turned back one last time.
You win, she said.
But I didn't feel like I'd won anything. That night, I couldn't sleep. Not from guilt. From unease. The revenge had worked, maybe too well. They were both crumbling. But I couldn't stop thinking about how quickly it had all unraveled. How fragile people really are when their secrets are exposed. I checked my phone, 50 new DMs on Instagram. Some from strangers. Some from former friends of Sophie's. Some from people just wanting gossip. And one message that chilled me. "Be careful. Sophie's not the type to go down quietly." I stared at that message for a long time. Because I'd always known she was capable of cruelty. But I'd never seen her truly desperate. Now she was. It started with a whisper. A post appeared in a local Facebook group. Vague, but clearly about me. Something about a woman who faked being cheated on for attention and destroyed 2 innocent lives out of jealousy. No names. Just enough to seed doubt. Then came the fake DMs, screenshots Sophie clearly faked, messages that made it look like I had been the aggressor all along. That I had threatened to ruin her unless she backed off Alex. She was trying to flip the script, and some people were buying it. A few old friends texted me, confused. "Hey, I heard you've been going through some stuff. Are you okay?" Translation: Did you really blackmail your best friend? It was working just a little. Just enough to muddy the water. And that's when I made a decision. I wasn't going to respond. Not publicly. Because engaging meant playing her game. And I was done playing games. Instead, I let the facts speak. A quiet tip to a journalist at a workplace ethics blog. Just enough of the verified information, emails, memos, expenses, to get her interested. She ran a piece titled, "The Cost of Silence, When Office Culture Rewards Toxic Behavior." Sophie wasn't named, but anyone in her industry knew. That same week, Alex's real estate license status quietly changed to under review on the state board's public database. It was like watching dominoes fall, slow and deliberate. I didn't say a word. Not online. Not to mutual friends. But the people who mattered, they knew. And the rest? Let them wonder. But revenge always comes with a price. I lost a few friends, people who didn't want to take sides. There were days I questioned if I'd gone too far. Nights when I replayed the voice memos and started to feel numb instead of angry. One morning, I woke up to an email. Subject: Cease and desist. From Sophie's lawyer. Thinly veiled. No real legal legs. Just a threat. I forwarded it to a friend in law school. His reply? "She's flailing. Just don't say anything directly, and you're fine."
Still, it shook me.
Not because I thought she'd win, but because it confirmed what I already suspected. She wasn't done. About a week later, I got a package. No return address. No name. Inside, a small black box. Inside that, a torn-up photo of me, Sophie, and Alex from my birthday the year before. And a single note. Some scars don't fade. No threats. No signature. Just poison on paper. I didn't report it. I didn't react. I took the pieces, put them in a plastic bag, and locked them in a drawer. Because if she thought she could scare me, she forgot who she was dealing with. I sent Alex and Sophie one final email. No threats. No rants. Just this. You both made choices. You weaponized my love, then tried to bury me under your lies. I won't carry the weight of your sins anymore. Whatever comes next, you brought on yourselves. I'm done playing. Then I blocked them. Everywhere.
Permanently.
Sophie resigned from her company 3 weeks later. A quiet exit after a loud fall. Alex's license suspension became permanent. Rumor was he left the city, probably hoping people would forget. They won't. People remember the mask slipping more than they ever remember the face. I started over. No grand reinvention. No dramatic escape to Paris. Just small, intentional peace. I cut ties with the fake friends. I picked up painting again. I got a new job, one where no one knew my name, my drama, or my exes. The silence was healing. And in it, I finally let go. Not out of forgiveness, but out of freedom. Because the real power wasn't in destroying them. It was in refusing to be destroyed by them. A vague, professionally worded email from Sophie's company announcing that she would be taking a temporary leave to focus on personal matters. Translation: the board was panicking and legal was scrambling. Word had gotten out about the allegations, financial and otherwise. 2 days later, Alex's LinkedIn updated to say he was exploring new opportunities. His company had cut ties quietly, no public statement, no drama.
Just gone.
I knew he was spiraling. He went from posting polished motivational quotes and real estate wins to complete silence. Not even a birthday post for his niece, which he never missed. His online presence evaporated, like he was trying to disappear. And Sophie? Oh, Sophie was clawing to survive.